Sometimes we believe that finding someone exactly like us is the key to a perfect relationship. We think that sharing the same interests, routines, and ways of thinking will make everything effortless. But what if too much similarity isn't a good thing? What if being too alike creates problems you never saw coming? In today's video, we're diving into the hidden dangers of extreme compatibility and why being too similar might actually harm your relationship. Stick around to learn how to strike the perfect balance between similarity and individuality in your relationship. And before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss insightful content like this. 1. The illusion of perfect harmony. At first, being incredibly similar can feel like a dream come true. You finish each other's sentences, share the same hobbies, and even react to situations in identical ways. But over time, this can create a false sense of harmony, where conflicts are avoided rather than resolved. Differences in a relationship push growth, teach compromise, and build deeper emotional understanding. When a couple is too alike, they might mistake comfort for connection, leading to stagnation instead of progress. The absence of differing perspectives can cause a lack of critical thinking and problem solving. Without challenges or new viewpoints, relationships can become repetitive and predictable. 2. The risk of emotional stagnation. When two people are too much alike, their emotional landscape can become unchallenged and static. Relationships thrive on the ability to learn from one another. But if both partners have the same emotional responses, there's little room for growth. Imagine both partners shutting down during stress instead of balancing each other out. This can create cycles where neither person knows how to break the tension. Emotional diversity helps strengthen a relationship by offering new ways to process and handle challenges. When two people feel, react, and express emotions in the exact same way, conflicts can remain unresolved. 3. The problem of predictability. In the early stages of a relationship, similarities bring people together, making interactions feel effortless. But as time goes on, too much predictability can become a burden rather than a strength. Relationships thrive on excitement, discovery, and a bit of unpredictability. When partners always know what the other will say or do, things can start feeling mechanical and uninspired. A lack of contrast can lead to a routine-driven relationship that lacks surprise and spontaneity. Differences in personality and interests create opportunities for new experiences and fresh conversations. When both partners think alike, decision-making can become redundant, leading to boredom over time. 4. No space for growth or challenge. One of the biggest dangers of extreme compatibility is the lack of challenge. Growth happens when we are exposed to new ideas, habits, and perspectives. When two people think and act the same, they miss out on opportunities to evolve individually and as a couple. Disagreements and differences force us to reflect, question, and improve our understanding of ourselves and others. When a relationship is too harmonious, it can prevent this necessary friction that leads to growth. Over time, partners might realize they are stuck in a cycle of familiarity that doesn't push them forward. A strong relationship isn't about avoiding challenges, it's about overcoming them together. If a couple never experiences productive disagreements or learns from their differences, the relationship might lack the depth needed to withstand real-life struggles. 5. Attraction fades without polarity. Attraction in relationships often comes from a balance of similarities and differences. Too much alike can sometimes feel like looking into a mirror rather than engaging with a partner. Opposing traits create magnetism, keeping the connection dynamic and exciting. If both partners always agree, act the same, and process situations identically, there is little room for the push and pull dynamic that fuels passion. Psychological studies show that contrast and mystery contribute to long-term attraction. A relationship that feels too predictable can lose its excitement, making passion fade over time. While shared values are important, so is maintaining a level of individual mystery. 6. The lack of complementary strengths. A healthy relationship benefits from each partner bringing different strengths to the table. If both individuals share the same strengths but also the same weaknesses, they may struggle in areas that require balance. For example, if both partners are highly ambitious but lack patience, they might struggle with stress management. On the other hand, if both are easygoing but lack drive, they might have trouble setting and achieving goals together. Complementary strengths create a supportive dynamic where one partner's strengths can make up for the other's weaknesses. Without this balance, certain challenges can become harder to navigate, leading to frustration and stagnation. 7. Conflict resolution becomes difficult. You might assume that being highly compatible means fewer arguments, but it can actually make conflict resolution more complicated. If both partners avoid confrontation, they may sweep issues under the rug, leading to unresolved tension. On the other hand, if both are highly opinionated and stubborn, disagreements may escalate without resolution. Differences in personality often help balance conflict by introducing different problem-solving approaches. When a relationship lacks that balance, conflicts can either be avoided entirely or turn into repeated cycles without productive solutions. Healthy disagreements help couples understand each other better and develop emotional intelligence. 8. No fresh perspectives or new experiences. A relationship where both people think alike can become an echo chamber, limiting exposure to new ideas, experiences, and perspectives. Growth comes from learning and challenging existing viewpoints, which can be difficult if both partners already agree on almost everything. A partner with different interests, beliefs, or cultural experiences can introduce fresh perspectives that expand understanding and deepen connection. Without this variety, conversations may become repetitive, and the relationship can start to feel uninspiring. Exploring new ideas together strengthens bonds and prevents relationships from becoming stagnant. 9. Reduced independence and identity loss. Being too similar can sometimes lead to partners becoming overly dependent on each other, losing their individual identities in the process. When couples share the same hobbies, opinions, and routines, they might start functioning as a single unit rather than as two independent individuals. Over time, this can make it difficult to maintain personal growth outside of the relationship. Independence is essential for long-term happiness, as it allows each partner to bring something fresh and evolving into the relationship. Without a sense of individuality, couples risk becoming overly enmeshed, leading to codependency or a lack of self-fulfillment. 10. The illusion of a perfect relationship. When two people are too alike, they may fall into the trap of thinking their relationship is perfect because they rarely disagree. However, the absence of disagreement doesn't necessarily mean a relationship is healthy. It could mean that neither partner is pushing for growth. Real, meaningful connections require honest conversations, occasional challenges, and a willingness to evolve. If a couple is too similar, they may avoid difficult discussions, assuming that agreement equals harmony. In reality, the healthiest relationships embrace differences and use them as opportunities to strengthen their connection. Relationships that lack this dynamic risk becoming surface level rather than deeply fulfilling. Remember, love isn't about finding a perfect mirror, it's about building something dynamic and evolving together. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss insightful content like this. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. Do you think too much alike can be a bad thing? Share your thoughts below.